Okay, so imagine a world where Martin Luther King Jr. didn't stand up for himself and what he believed in and people with the same race as him. Or if Rosa Parks didn't, when the people told her that she couldn't sit there, she was like, oh, okay, and then she moved back to her spot. What would happen with the world if those two people didn't stand up for themselves? I mean, there's so many other people that have done that in our life, not our lifetime, but in the world that we don't really think about that much. And I think that's something that we need to think about because they stood up for themselves even though it wasn't the popular thing to do or people didn't think it was the right thing for them to do. And today I will be talking about how you should make a mark on the world even if people don't stand with you and you're standing all by yourself. And if someone says like, oh, you shouldn't do that because no one else is doing that, like, why shouldn't you do it? Wouldn't that make you want to do it even more? And if like good people don't lead, then bad people will lead. And example of Hitler, people believed what he said and bad things happened. And that's where I kind of relate into this speech. My grandma, my dad's mom, was born in Germany during the time of the Nazi army, and her dad was an architect. He was a really good one, and he knew how to build these certain buildings that the Russians wanted, and two of the three architects were kidnapped by the Russians and were never heard of again. And after that, he knew that he had to leave the country because there was no other way. He didn't want to get kidnapped. He didn't want to live that kind of life for his family. So they decided to flee to Canada because at that time Canada was like supporting those people that wanted to get out of the country. And her dad knew someone that was a prisoner of war over in Canada, and he said what a great place it was and how they really should come here. So they couldn't leave all at once because that would just look really suspicious and no one else in their town would leave. So it was their family and they all had to leave in shifts. And at the age of 14, my grandma came over to Canada and she was scared. They were scared out of their mind because they knew that something could happen to them. They could get killed, the Nazi army could find them or something like that. And so when they were over in Canada, she met my grandpa, and then that's when they came to America, and they came to Iowa. And if my grandma and if her dad didn't want to come over to Canada just because he was scared, like, I wouldn't be here, my dad wouldn't be here, my aunt and uncle wouldn't be here, like, it's crazy to think about like what would happen if they didn't decide to do that. So even if, what I hope you get from this speech is that even if you are scared to do something and you don't think that anything good will come out of it, just know that something good will come out of it, and you just have to look at the positive in life.